indeed a great privilege once again that Shri Mataji is in Delhi, and on behalf of the people of Delhi, we extend her a hearty welcome. She will speak first on Sahaj Yoga and self-realization. Then at 7:30, the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi will say a few words. Thereafter, Shri Mataji will give realization, followed by a cultural program. Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. Yesterday, I told you in short what is Sahaj Yoga. Sahaja. Saha means with, Ja means born. Yoga means union with the divine, in simple words. Saha is with, Ja is born. Is born with you. Something that is born with you is the right to achieve the union with the divine. This is Sahaj Yoga. How it happens, why it happens, is to be seen. Howsoever I may try to explain it to you, it may be that you may not believe in it. But as I requested you yesterday, like as a scientist, you have to keep your mind open with pure scientific attitude and see for yourself if this hypothesis I put before you is true or not. But if you put a barrier in your mind, like a student going to a medical college, has a barrier in his mind about medicine, cannot receive anything in the same way. If you put a barrier in your head against knowing about the roots that nourishes this great tree of creation, you can never understand what I am talking about. Whatever I am telling you today has been written in our scriptures in this great land of Yoga Bhumi, this country which we have taken for granted, as we have taken our human existence for granted. The greatest of greatest country is India. Because spirituality, if spirit is the highest, this is the country which is going to deliver goods to all the nations around. In this Yoga Bhumi, whatever I am telling you today has been discovered at least 16,000 years back. People were practicing this, not in a way we are doing it today in a hall, individually, not en masse. But today the time has come to get this knowledge, the knowledge of experience, of prachiti. Everyone can have the experience of one's own spirit. But please don't put your barriers against it, as I told you. Also, I told you that in the West, they talk of individuality As a result of that, we think that they have achieved a lot, but individuality cannot come to human beings unless until they are matured enough. So the maturity has to be first seen to, and then the manifestation of the individuality can be sensible. Otherwise, people will go amok, and that's exactly what is happening in the West today, and we are following them into the same problems. So now today, as I told you, that I'll be telling you about the construction of our being within ourselves. Yesterday I told you what mistake Jung made, who was the disciple of Freud, in describing a human being. In describing a human being, he said that human being is made of the unconscious first. He described him in layers, like first the unconscious, then the unconscious that is going to manifest, then the subconscious, and then the conscious mind, and on top of that, he said, is the ego. This is typically a Western yogi talking, because he didn't have the heritage of our wealth. But you can see here clearly how we are built. We are not built one on top of another that way, but it's a parallel thing built beautifully by a very great organizer. And the central path of our ascent is kept absolutely clean and open for us to ascend. Because any ordinary organizer can also see that if you have to go somewhere, the passage must be kept clean. Then the one who is the organizer of all the organizations, such a person, why will he keep us like this? That we have to go through the subconscious to achieve the unconscious. And that is why all these gurus and all these people are telling you that you have to go to the unconscious through the subconscious strata. So you have to become like mad people. Even people say that when Kundalini is awakened, you have to behave like a mad person. You start jumping and doing all kinds of things. Actually, those who are unauthorized can create problem. And this is the reason why so many people in the world are literally frightened to have their ascent. These books which are published, I mean, anybody can write about Kundalini, there is no authority to stop it. There is no law to stop it. They can write whatever they feel like on their individual basis, and people buy those books and get frightened. I think it's a very negative approach, because without the ascent of human beings to that level of a spirit, you cannot solve the problems of this universe. You try anything. So far, whatever we have tried through our mental projections has a linear movement which comes back and recoils upon you, as I told you yesterday, the scientific, the political, the economic. But the only approach that can spread all over comes only when you become the spirit. And it is important that we all have to become the spirit, especially the Indians, because we have our heritage. And it's very easy for an Indian to get an ascent. But he doesn't settle down so well as a Westerner can, because for him it is too precious and for us it is not. Like our independence, I think, we do not treat our freedom of our soul in the same way. We just do not bother about the sustenance of it. But I hope this August gathering will give some heat to their own self-emancipation. And with self-confidence, they will achieve it. Now here we have, as you see in the chart, 3 types of channels. First, we'll be dealing with the nadis. There are 3 types of channels within us. These, of course, in the medical terminology can be called as left and right sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic. But in the Sahaja Yoga science, these 3 channels are expression, gross expression of the subtle nadis. One is called as Ida on the left side, Pingala on the right side, and Sushumna in the center. Kabira has said, Ingala, Pingala, Sukhamana Nadi. They have all talked about in poetry. Nobody tried to find out what they have been saying, what they mean by this. These three nadis exist within us and express themselves in the gross as left, right, sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Now, as far as the medical science is concerned, the doctors do not know how to control the parasympathetic. Sympathetic is controllable. If you run fast, the heart beats faster, but it comes back to its normal through parasympathetic. Now, this central part of Sushumna, which expresses the parasympathetic nervous system in the gross, is the path of our ascent. Accordingly, we have three types of people and permutations of combinations of these three types. The first one is the type which is a left-sided. The left-sided people are the people who are emotional people, because it caters to our emotional side of it. With science, you cannot explain emotions, love, attachments. Science is a very limited field. With medical science, you cannot explain them. But with psyche, so-called psychological science, which I think is compared to our knowledge in this country, is not even a little dwarfy child. Now, this psyche, or the left side, is also catering to our past. Whatever is built in within us, since our creation, exists in this area, which is called as the collective subconscious. The other day in London, I saw one television show by the people who are doing research in cancer, and they admitted that the triggering of the cancer takes place from the area which is built within us, since our creation. And they say there are proteins, they call them as proteins. They say these are proteins 58, protein 53, whatever name you may give. They admit that this kind of area exists within us, and from this area, the attack comes for cancer. This much is admitted. Now, on the right-hand side, we have another nadi called Pingala nadi, which is very strong in Delhi. This is the nadi which creates rajogunis. The first one creates the tamogunis, the second one creates the rajogunis, which acts for our physical and our mental activities of the future. For example, we are planning. Morning till evening we are thinking. Those who are futuristic people indulge into this creation, and they develop an institution on top of the head like a balloon called ego. While those who indulge into the left side activities create an institution which is called as superego, or all the conditionings within us. Now, these two things definitely exist within us, even according to Jung. When we grow, these two develop into a calcified formation of the fontanelle bone area, and we get closed down. So we develop an identity, a name, a personality, and you separate yourself from others. So that's how you get your freedom from the whole. In Sanskrit language, we call animals as pashu, means they are in pasha, means they are not free. They are under the pash of God's realm, that they are not free to decide for themselves what should they do. But we have a right to decide. We can decide, we have that freedom to decide whether to go to God or to go to hell. We can say whether to be benevolent or to be cruel. We have all the freedom to decide whatever we want to do. And this power of decision within us gives us that special position in the whole kingdom of animals that we can decide. We have a power to decide. Now, in this decision making, if we emphasize on individuality, we do not cater or care for our maturity. If you are not matured enough and you start deciding what you have to do, then you have no relationship with the whole and you become a person who is like an abandoned personality. Same thing happens in the cancer. When a cell loses its connection with the whole, becomes malignant, it becomes ego-oriented, it starts overpowering others and eating up and developing itself with no proportional understanding of the whole. And this is what is happening today to all the ego-oriented society where they think they should develop. The way they have developed, now they don't know what to do. Now this conscious mind, when it develops, this effort of the ego, when it develops in such a way, it hampers your conscious effort. It doesn't allow you to use your conscious mind fully well. Like Hitler you become, like Khomeini you become. You become so ego-oriented, a barrier is so much created in your mind that you cannot connect yourself with others, and people say it's thick-headedness. And this thick-headedness is nothing but a man who is very ego-oriented. According to our Indian philosophy, a man who is ahankari is a stupid fellow. He ultimately ends up into many stupidities which we cannot explain. I have seen the countries which are ego-oriented, you just don't understand why they do these stupid things, because they are only ego-oriented, they believe in individuality, but they have no maturity of any kind. And they do such immature thing that you are surprised the way they are handling very serious situations. So this ego develops within us, and now I find that all these ego-oriented people are also quite frightened of it, absolutely frightened of it. They think that they are doing harm to others, aggressing others, and they don't want to do it, but they have no control over themselves. Now, as I told you, the left side is the person who is emotional, who is very loving, who is very kind. As I told you that I heard that in England, every week 2 children are killed by parents. I can't think of such a thing in India. But here, the other way around, they will do anything for their children. This is going to another extreme of super-ego, where to you, your child is the most important. So one has to come in the center, and the center is the Sushumna Nadi, which is Sattva-guni as they call it, because it is a balance. You have to have a balance. And to create the balance within ourselves, we have got this void, which is our religion. Now, this religion has nothing to do with the outside religions we are talking about. But fundamentally, we have got 10 valencies. As carbon has got 4 valencies, human beings have 10 valencies. You know that all the matter has got only 8 valencies, while human beings have 10 valencies, and these are the 10 commandments, or you can tell the 10 dharmas that exist within us. When we try to go out of that dharma and into imbalances, then we develop problems of stomach, of various nature that even doctors cannot make out how they develop it and how to work it out. Now this has got 10 chakras built in on your head here. 5 on this side and 5 on the other side. This we, in the Sanskrit language, we call as Ekadasha Rudra. There are 11 Rudras because the center one is the one of the primordial being, what we call the Virat, is Akbar. These 11 chakras, when they set in motion, our destruction starts. They are responsible for destroying us, because if we do not construct, we go towards destruction. So these 11 Rudras are very important, and in modern times I find they are extremely active. God knows how human beings are going to be destroyed, whether from within or from without. The fear is everywhere. But the only solution is that you become your spirit. Spirit resides in the heart. And the spirit is the source of all the joy. The truth that is absolute. For example, a person who is spiritually developed, the one who has got spiritual power, will say the same thing as the other person will say. There is no duality in it. There is no fight. So to develop it, you have to have the ascent of your Kundalini. When the Kundalini rises, then only the spirit can be awakened within you. There is no other way round. People say that there can be another way, this can be done, that can be done. There can be no other way for a seed to be sprouted. You have to put it in the Mother Earth, because she's the only one who has capacity to sprout a seed. In the same way, your Kundalini, which is residing into the triangular bone, has to rise. Now, what is this Kundalini? Kundalini is the true desire, or what we call the Shuddha Ichcha, pure desire. All other desires of human beings are impure. As we say in the economics, that the wants are satiable only partially, in the sense that in general they are not satiable. In general they are not satiable. That means if you want something, supposing you want to have a house. When you have a house, you want to have a car. You want to have a car, then you want to have a garden. The desire which you have desired for doesn't give you the satisfaction that you asked for. So you go on asking for more and more. That proves that the desire you had, or you always had, whatever desires you had, are not true desires. If they were so, when they were quenched, you should have got the satisfaction. So the true desire, the power of true desire and the pure desire is the Kundalini, the 3.5 coiled energy within us, which resides in the triangular bone. Now this resides there, it is there, has been described for thousands of years in our country. But we are so westernized that we don't want to see what exists within us. You can see in the course of your Sahaja Yoga treatment and all that, those people who have obstruction in the second or the third centers, the Kundalini pulsates just like a heart, this triangular bone pulsates just like a heart. And you can even see the movement of the Kundalini. Even you can feel on top of your head the throbbing, the hearts, throbbing on your head, as Kabira has said, Shunya Shikhara Para Anahada Bajite. When it breaks, then you start feeling the cool breeze, which is called as the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. In the Bible, they have described Holy Ghost, which is a very ambiguous thing, nobody knows about it, because they don't want to read anything else but Bible. But it is the Adi Shakti, the Adi Kundalini, the one who is the primordial Kundalini, which is the Holy Ghost, which is reflected within you as your own Kundalini, your own mother. And she is the mother of every individual, just waiting for someone who is authorized by divinity to be able to give you your second birth. But there are many people who are self-certified second birth, they are born again, and this and that. But as a result of awakening of the Kundalini, as I told you yesterday, you must become, again I say, you have to become collectively conscious, means you should feel on your fingertips the sympathetic nervous system of others and your own. You should feel the defects of your chakras, and you should find out what's wrong with yourself and what's wrong with you. Now the modern Sahaja Yoga has done only one great thing, is that it enlightens thousands of people. Because without enlightenment, if you tell somebody, don't do this, this will spoil your balance, people will do it again and again. But if Kundalini is awakened, then the dharma gets enlightened within you. And I don't have to tell anybody don't do, you just don't do it. It just happens automatically. And that's why first let the light come. Maybe it is very faint, maybe it is slight there, maybe that you do not feel much, but you start feeling the problems that you have. And because you separate yourself from yourself and you can witness yourself, you can very easily locate your problems, and if you know how to cure them, you can get cured. You yourself strive to cure. There are many people who come and tell me that, Mother, my agya is catching. In English ordinary language, it means, Mother, I am suffering from terrible ego. But if you have to tell somebody you are suffering from ego, you better run away after that. But this is what happens to you. You start facing yourself so clearly, so boldly, and when you know the knowledge that this is wrong with me, you just start correcting. And with others also, you start correcting them, not telling them what's wrong with them, but talking on their chakras so they don't understand and they can also be cured. It's not only the physical cure I'm talking about. Of course, physical is the minimum that can happen. Let's see only one point, how we can cure cancer with surgery. Now, as I told you, there are subtle centers within us which look after, cater our plexuses. Now say one of the plexuses is made like this, with the left and the right sympathetic nervous system, and in the center you have the chakras, or the center, the subtle center. Now the left and the right sympathetic is passing through this, creating this center, and in the center is the Sushumna Nadi. If you see, the shape of my hand is also something like your vertebrae. Now what happens, that if the energy is very much spent, say a person is very ego-oriented, he works very hard, he does this, he does that, all kinds of things. Then what happens, that the energy is pulled out of this place very much. At that time, if there's an attack from the left, then this is pushed out. And once it is pushed out, the connection with the whole is lost. And the cells start moving on their own. And once they start moving on their own, they become malignant. Now, how do we or Sahajogis can manage to help such a person? It's a very simple thing, because a Sahajogi is connected to the mains as this one is. And through him is the vital energy, which is emotional, which is physical, which is mental, and which is also evolutionary. All combined together is passing through it, which is we call as Chaitanya. When this Chaitanya is given to that point, that takes up all that is necessary and again joins back to the same point. And that's how we cure cancer. There's nothing special about it. But when you say that, I know that this time I had a very tough time with some organizations run by doctors. They got very angry with me and they threw a challenge and all that. Now, to be very frank, I in no way want to harm any doctors. On the contrary, as I told you, that this is the science of the roots, while they have the science of the tree. Only patients who are gone cases, whom doctors cannot treat, I would like to help them, and the poor people of our country who cannot reach doctors. These are the only two areas I touch, and the rest of the rich people are available to you. I do not have to in any way disturb you on that point. Now, this left side is also very important. Right side is when I told you, you get extremely futuristic. That is very important in a place like Delhi, that people are extremely futuristic. They have no time. They have no time for themselves. They have no time for their family. They have no time for their children. They are busy people. They are busy running the rat race. Now, as a result of that, what happens? There is one Swadhisthana chakra in the center, which caters, which I do not know if doctors will agree, but it does, caters to a very important function, is to transform the fat of the stomach for the use of the brain. Because you know the brain is made of fat cells. Now this function is one of the most important for this particular Swadhisthana chakra, which of course in the gross looks after the aortic plexus. Now, when you overuse this center for only this purpose, all the rest of his functions become subsidiary and sometimes become extinct. Under these circumstances, such a person must suffer either from diabetes, because it caters to liver, to pancreas, to spleen, to kidneys, and to the ovaries and some parts of the uterus in the ladies. Now, when a man starts using too much of this center, then he can have any one of these problems. For example, he could be a liver patient, and doctors don't discover liver trouble till one gets cirrhosis. He might develop a diabetes. He may develop a very serious disease called as leukemia because of the spleen trouble. He may develop intestinal troubles and also kidney, so the kidney trouble of high blood pressure and all that. So when you reduce it to its roots, it comes to one side that the gentleman is suffering from the right side. If you can cure the right side, you can cure the person of all these diseases. But if he goes too far and escapes all these things, maybe he gets a heart attack. Heart attack due to overactivity. Overactivity, one can get a heart attack. Now, the left-sided people are mostly people who do not take sufficient proteins, have lethargic organs. Lethargic organs by which you can say you developed angina on the heart. You can develop liver can give you all kinds of skin troubles, like allergies and all that. Other problems of lethargic spleen and lethargic pancreas can develop if a person doesn't take sufficient proteins in life, or if he is too much left-sided, emotional, always thinking of the past, as we Indians are more glorious in the past and future is all in the dark. Such people do develop a problem on the left side. Now, if we reduce it to the left side problem, and if you know how to cure the left side and nourish it, we can solve the left side problem as well. Now, the worst problem that comes is the wrong attachment to wrong type of people who talk of God, who indulge into anti-God activities. Those who indulge into anti-God activities and become gurus can give very serious troubles, mostly on the left side and some on the right side. One can get a heart attack, one can get a cancer, one can get leukemia. All kinds of left-sided problems can come from these gurus because they mesmerize you, and in mesmerism they put some sort of a thing, the same protein which doctors have described, into you, by which you might get into trouble. People develop all kinds of nervous troubles which cannot be cured, and also they develop a nervous skin, nervous stomach. All this nervousness comes from that kind of an unknown attack about which we have made no inquiries and found out nothing. I am not only dealing here with you about the mental or the emotional. I am not only dealing with people who are having physical problems. Now we have got, as we discussed yesterday about the yoga, I told you that Ashtanga is 8-fold. It's not only one that you start doing some exercises. It is not at all that. It's a wee bit of it. And one must know the science of that also. That unless and until Kundalini rises, which is described as Ishvara Pranidhana, means establishment of Ishvara within you, unless and until the Kundalini rises, any exercise you do is absolutely indiscriminate. For example, people who are left-sided should not do any exercise forward bending. Those who are right-sided should never do any exercise that is backward bending. But there is no discrimination in the so-called yoga that they teach today. So anybody who wants can dabble into all these sciences, because we have not paid any attention to understand that it is so well organized. The science of God's power are so well organized. They are so accurate and so absolute that there is no change. Like you cannot get theories of Einstein flouted by another one, then theories of somebody flouted by another. Einstein, of course, was a realized soul. And he did talk of a macrocosm and a microcosm, which is very close to Sahaja Yoga, that once you get your realization, the microcosm, the cell, becomes the whole. And that is what exactly happens to you when you get your self-realization. Now we have got these 6 chakras on top of the Muladhara. Muladhara is the first chakra, which is a very important chakra and is the center of innocence. I wonder how many people understand the value of innocence. In the West especially, I was shocked. The way they are playing about with their chastity, they have no sense of chastity left in them. They don't know what they are playing with. They are playing with fire. And that's why now they have developed horrible diseases, incurable diseases. And I don't know what kind of an eruption is going to take from within. The people who fall into parapsychology and all that will die just like that, without understanding how we are dying. All these things must be understood properly. What these sciences are, what these Preta Vidyas, Smashana Vidyas and all these cults are, and these occults are, and how they harm us. Unless until we know about it, we cannot administer human beings properly. We will not know under what pressure they are working in and how to cure them. The only solution I find is that we all should receive our self-realization, which is a collective consciousness within ourselves. We become collectively conscious when we become the spirit. Then we understand others, we understand ourselves. Now these 6 chakras I will be telling you tomorrow about in very clear words. I'll explain to you what these chakras are, how they are responsible. I have told you about the Muladhara today and about the Swadhisthana. But about the Nabhi and all others, I will be explaining to you tomorrow. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I would like to have for about 5 minutes. आइए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपने हम लोगों को जमीन दे दी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। At this point, I would like to thank our governor for allotting us a plot of land. It is very kind of him to arrange that.
Her Holiness Mataji Nirmala Devi, Sri Jagmohan, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, and my dear brothers and sisters. Today's program is Bhakti Nritya. The purpose of human life is evolution from the human to the divine and experience of the God within you. The purpose of music is to sing the praise of the Lord, His attributes, and the beauties of His creation. The purpose of dance is to express devotion through body, mind, and soul. So today's program of Bhakti Nritya is fully oriented to the divine purpose for which God created music and dance. Today's program of Bhakti Nritya is choreographed by Saroja Vaidyanathan, the well-known, renowned, dedicated and innovative dancer and dance teacher of Delhi. This program is being dedicated to Her Holiness Mata Nirmala Devi, who has got the power to awaken the divinity within us and experience true devotion to God. True devotion to God cannot be experienced unless the Kundalini Shakti is awakened and in the lotus of your heart, you feel the divinity within you. This program of Bhakti Nritya is a thanks offering to our Lieutenant Governor, our beloved Jagmohan Ji, who is not only an able and administrator, but also a person with a large heart, a person overflowing with love and compassion, a person whose life is based upon dedication and service to the people. He functions from the level of the heart. I remember how so willingly, so spontaneously, he agreed to give us a beautiful, valuable piece of land in South Delhi for our Sanstha. The only question he asked me was whether it is for the cause of Dharma. I told him it is so. I told him our Divine Mother is doing great work throughout the world and we want to establish a beautiful ashram. So I often think if there are 100 administrators like Sri Jagmohan throughout the country, with his heart and head, the country will be a different place. Now, in a short while from now, the cultural program will start. Before that, I would request Sri Jagmohan ji to say a few words. Thank you.
Her Holiness Mataji, Mr. Venugopal, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to be with you this evening. I am doubly privileged by the fact that Mataji is here. We all know that the cities are the spiritual workshops of the nations. Delhi has a special role to play in molding the Indian society. The worth of the city is not to be measured in its buildings or its boulevards or its parks and green vistas, but by the spirit that it nurtures. You have had the most illuminating lecture, I believe, and I am sure the establishment of the ashram in this part of the country, that is Delhi, will help in making our city spiritually beautiful. And from this ashram, the rays will travel all over the country. As I say, the cities are the spiritual workshop of the nation. I would not like to say anything more in such a distinguished gathering, and I am told that there are a series of lectures, and when the ashram is established, then I am sure Delhi is going to have very many good talks about this subject, and this will help the citizens of Delhi in improving their caliber in the spiritual sense, not in the material sense. I wish you the best of luck, best of time. Being a very noble cause, I will extend all my support and assistance, both as an individual and as an officer. My distinguished friend Mr. Venugopal was referring to the allotment of the land, but I think he is so persuasive, hardly anybody can refuse him. So I once again congratulate you for starting this venture in Delhi, Mr. Venugopal and all his friends and colleagues, and I am sure our city is going to have a great landmark, spiritual landmark. And I again wish you the best of luck, best of time. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to say that tomorrow we are not having any program, and day after tomorrow we are going to have 3 programs, one after another, and I will again try the prayoga of self-realization, because today there is a program like this, so we have made it rather short. But from tomorrow onwards, means day after tomorrow, we start this experiment of Sahaja Yoga. I hope you will make it convenient to come again and again. Thank you very much.
वो भी हटाना।
Roja Vaidyanathan, founder president of Ganesh and Acharya, presents Bhakti Nritya. Today, the first item is Lambodharaya. Lord Ganesha's blessings are invoked before commencing any auspicious function. This popular god is the elder son of Lord Shiva and consort Parvati. He is normally depicted as having an elephant head with a trunk and is of red complexion. Though he was only a small figure, the Lord Ganesha has a big and oversized stomach. He is very much fond of Motakam and has his Vahanam Mushikam. Lord Ganesha destroys the evil forces and pleases his devotees liberally. In this item, Srimati Saroja Vaidyanathan is renders a solo. This will be followed by a stuti on the combination of the three goddesses Lakshmi, Saraswati and Durga, and it is called Mahishasura Mardini.
Thank you.
K. Krishnan. This dance item portrays Saint Purandara making a frantic search for Lord Krishna. In all seriousness, Purandara is constantly asking the devotees about the advent of Lord Krishna. The saint answers his own question and says that Lord Krishna would be in temples, or in his friends showering the cows, or daily playing with the gopikas in the Vrindavan, and teaching them with his innocent friends. The saint praises the virtues of the Lord and says that Krishna is a unique God to help everyone. For instance, Saint Purandara says, Lord Krishna became the charioteer for Arjuna and taught Gita to this. Purandara Bhakti, Lord Krishna prays, chanting the Lord's name as Purandara Vijaya. Satse Guruche Prema Sagai. As you all know, we are approaching the Holy Festival. In tune with this joyous occasion, Sarada is presenting a delightful dance item. In this item, Surdas, Anand Deva saying, preaches that love with affection is more important than prayers. For instance, the Surda says, in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna, who did not accept the offerings from Duryodhana, readily sought given by Saint Vidura, a very humble person. Similarly, Ramayana, Lord Rama gladly accepted the fruits previously tasted by Savali, their poor one. On another instance, in Yudhishthira Yajna, Lord Krishna takes the leftovers of the guest to finish the meal. In this dance item, Krishna plays with the Sagi in Vrindavan and later becomes the chariot of Arjuna at the Kurukshetra war, although he is the supreme lord of the universe. In this dance piece, Sarada accompanied by Savana Sargohan who performs with Krishna. In the end, Savana comes as the Krishna and accompanies Solomon.
सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई
Ladies and gentlemen, we have short instructions about Sarojita, who is the former president of Ganesh Acharya. She recently was awarded the Bhumika Award by the Minister for Information Broadcasting last week. Sarojita, who is playing Bharatanatyam for the Father Prize, was honored with the title of Naughty Tilakam in the year 1965. She has also played diploma in music. Her constant urge for choreography, meeting the grand of Bharatanatyam, led her to compose the ballet. She has built an auditorium for academic and music schools for Sharda Singhi Sadan in Bharatpur, Bihar. The auditorium has been named after her at Sarojita Hall in Harvard Study Fine Arts. The Divine Women's Association, the International Women's Club, American Women's Association, Austrian Association, and many other organizations, Sarojita has given a number of lectures and demonstrations on Indian dance abroad. Besides making a professional dancer, she has made successful trips to UK, USA, Canada, and Europe. She was specially invited by London Broadcasting on December 1980 for a program called Peak Modern Night. In addition to her performances in 1979 and 1980 in the UK, the British Actors Deputy Association has conferred its membership on her. Recently, Sarojita has been able to obtain a Scotland flag, a rank, and relevant tag by the National Office Department in the institutional area for Ganesh Acharya. The next item is talking about the next item taken from the phrase Hari Kumaro, the Leela Bhajan. They are famous Draupadi from Ravan Sri, which is written by Sarojita. As you all know, Yudhishthira, who loses his kingdom, his brothers, and will fight Draupadi by the wily Duryodhana and his brother and arrogant Dushasana. Dushasana drags Draupadi to the Darbar and starts disturbing her. Draupadi vainly pleads for help from all, but no one is able to come to her rescue. Finally, Draupadi, the answer is there, makes a fervent plea to Lord Maitreya Supreme Lord Krishna, who immediately saves her honor. Due to Lord Krishna's divine power, the society starts growing and ending. Still, Dushasana gets tired of disturbing and falls down. This is a solo performance by Sarojita, and I will be shortly presented.
ah
Ladies and gentlemen, after this piece, there is only the last item, which is the Ayyappa ballet. Now, Corona will present this item. Hari Kumar.
Drop
before the
Mike.
before the last item is presented, we make a brief introduction of the artist and the orchestra members. First, the members of the orchestra group, vocal music by Srimati Mohana Murugopalan. May I request Srimati Mohana Murugopalan to come to the stage? Then, Srimati Lakshmi Vasudeva. We have on the harmonium Sri Devi Ramachandran. On Mridangam, Sri Balaji. Sri Venkatam on the veena. And Sri Suresh Kumar is playing the flute. Nashwanga by Kumari Sujata Nayak. Now, may I have the pleasure of introducing Srimati Saroja Vaidyanathan, the Guru and the President of Ganesh Nachalya. Followed by disciples Kumari Sangeeta Wadwa, Kumari Sadhana Karagopan, and of course Kumari Tima Nazar as going to be Lord Ayappa. Give a big hand. The last item is the Singaradevan and Uttarakhand ballet on Lord Ayappa. This next item, which is a ballet, is called Ayappa Incarnation. Lord Ayappa is born to Shiva and Vishnu, who took the form of Mohi. In this dance item, Saroja comes as a Mohi, Sadhana Prabhu is Lord Shiva, Sima Nazar is Lord Ayappa, and Sangeeta Wadwa is Nandi. The last item is gone.
Saroja Vaidyanathan. Artist competition.
He's the author, right? Just he's the flutist. Such a nice performance. One is tuned with the divine. You're absolutely tuned with the divine. I'm so happy that you're
So many got realization.
the certificate is got you to dance.
That's what it is. To dance we can do.
I
I hope you enjoy it.
If there has been any mistakes, please correct it.
Perfect, Alan. See how we timed it. See how I timed it. It was all timed well. You could not have done earlier.
Thank you, Very good program. Congratulations. Mataji is great.
It all worked out so well. Thank you very much, all of you. We'll have another program day after tomorrow here.
On the 15th.
On the 15th, then I'll give realization. 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Continuously.
माताजी निर्मला देवी की